well, you have this issue of impunity, which was mentioned before, for example, which could be a result of this. And basically meaning that then rules and procedures are not being followed. So it's a little bit what you see in Tunisia and Morocco as sort of the high-risk areas, and perhaps also how you would like to go about in attacking those areas and what type of measures that could be in place. And where I think it could be critical to identify these high-risk areas, because that could also be a way of how to prioritize. Normally we always get down to, okay, so then what do we do? And the challenges are so immense. There are so many things that can be done. So it's a little bit guiding us where to start and finding some simple ways of how we can prioritize anti-corruption measures, or as we say, measures to promote transparency, accountability, participation. Thank you.
Thank you. I am Sadiq Saad from Sona, Tunisia. My question is for Mrs. Alice. In your presentation, you said in the second point for second slide, we have to build systems resilient to corruption. Have you some example? Is the hard system or soft system? Thank you.
Okay, so we have collected 5 questions, or 5 set of questions that I'm aware. Probably the first question from our colleague from Jordan will maybe addressed by you, by one of you.
Yeah. Okay. So, as to answer your questions, yeah, there are concrete actions that are being under implementations. I can't remember all the actions in details because there are so many, and of course, if I have to do this, I have to do this also for the other processes. So I can't remember all. I have not the list, but I have this details with me in my computer. For example, you said procurement. Procurement, there are some concrete actions. I can remember that we are planning to organize training sessions for people that are working in regional departments, because we have a system that consists of centralizing conceptions of procedures of the way we are dealing with procurement, and the regional department, they should follow this the way that are designed from top. So we are planning to reinforce the training system for regional department. This is a concrete actions. Also, we identified some lack in the whole procedures of procurement. So we will be focusing on some points of the procedures to be detailed, to be improved, and so on.
Yeah, so it's mainly addressing compliance, which is much broader than what we are talking about, and we are addressing standard operation procedures. So if your company has standard operation procedures, then it's pretty easy to go along these activities and all the different units that are involved in, for example, whatsoever you have, then to identify the risks to be non-transparent, non-accountable, and non-participatory. But now the answer may be amended by Tunisia.
بالنسبة للتساؤل متاع الأخ، أنا كان فهمت السؤال. نحن عندنا معناتها الإطار القانوني اللي موجود في تونس والمعتمد في الشركة، معناتها فيه جميع الإجراءات اللي معناتها تضمن الشفافية. إلى جانب ذلك فما ابتكار جديد موجود في تونس هو تو فتح العروض وعملية فرز العروض بطريقة إلكترونية. إذ تفادينا معناتها في المستقبل سنتفادى الأوراق وفتح الظروف معناتها تقع بصفة إلكترونية، وهذه الإمكانية ستمكن من تكون موجودة عندنا معناتها الجارانتي اوف الضمان الكبير اللي معناتها نعملوا اللي جارد فو نيسيسير معناتها جميع كيفاش يقولوا البريكوشن معناتها باش العمليات المالية الكل اللي موجودة في الشركة تكون مضمونة ونبعدوا عن المشاكل الكل.
So, in my point of view, I have been looking at the analysis both of SONET and ONE. There are a lot of commonalities. But what was strike me most is that the fact that when starting the analysis, we can't when just we start the analysis and start again. Sometimes quickly we find the solution, and sometimes the solution is very obvious. That when we start looking at the problem, for instance, we have our colleague from Tunisia from the operation and commercial department, and they were looking at the billing and the water reading, and they just been they turned out that they're doing the rotation of the readers from one zone to another zone, but they just when doing the analysis. They turned out that they're doing not in the good manner, and now they just develop a new innovative solution how to rotate the readers. It's very obvious, and it doesn't need any external resources to it. And perhaps another example regarding the first results, the first solutions. I have it. For recruitment, when we talk about recruitment, we have some mainly, for instance, in many utilities, we have the people in charge of preparing the exams, etc. And we find that many times when making photocopy of the tests, there are leaks and some people use this for cheating or for and just adding a new very small action, and stop doing this, and we can stop the problem. That's very. You will. I think you have to start. When you start the analysis, some results are coming very quickly, and of course there are other results or other actions that need more time, more action. For instance, reporting for procurement, as our colleague said, or for state capture, that needs a lot of efforts, needed involvement of external actors. That needs more efforts and more lobbying to install the mitigation actions.
Yeah, that's probably just added on. That's the principle of this project, WaterTap. And it's based on my experience having been worked for more than 25 years in Africa. If you start to address with senior management the C word, then it's a deadlock. So here we do it just the other way around. We start from very small activities like how the tests in the training are done, and of course then also coming to the procurement and tendering and these issues. So by this automatically at the end we are addressing things that are related to the C word. So we are aiming for that you achieve results, and these results are achieved by you, by your staff, and it's supported by the senior management. And that's why it's also why we do not go through the national level. Exactly. We go to the company directly. We do the compliance or integrity at company level. Like GIZ is doing it, we have 18,000 employees, you can imagine, with a turnover of 2.3 billion euro, we do have an integrity system. But this is an internal system. It's not implied by our ministry. So, and also our experience, if having been worked in Africa, for example, Uganda, I can name it, everybody is very pleased about how Uganda is performing. But I tell you, I have evidences of non-TAP activities. So, but if you address the chief executive officer, he was invited by World Bank and many others, UNDP and so, to report on how good governance issues are tackled. So, to be honest, we are not addressing the C word, we are addressing TAP, and that's it. And I'm relating to the regional and policy level. Of course, and that's why I'm happy, our program is complementary, really complementary. That if we achieve at company level, if we achieve good results, inshallah, in half a year and in 1 year in Egypt and Jordan, of course, there can be a link and there can be at aqua level, esqua level, whatever level, policy level you have in mind, for example, through the CIVI project, who is working in all these countries. There can be a harmonization of policy goals or whatever. So there can be actions. But at this state, please, we should confine our activities at company level. And there is as you have seen in the middle of phase 3 in this, there is a chain, exchange, twinning and whatsoever, but this is voluntarily. At this state, we are not advising that there is already like an external auditing. That means that SONEDE is traveling to ONE and then auditing what ONE is doing. This will not work. Later, there can be probably guidelines or an auditing, because many of our of the units that are coordinating, water integrity coordinators, are from the auditing department in the utilities or in the what's called so organizational department. That means they are addressing the topics at institutional or organizational level, and they can take it up. But now we want to achieve results at company level or holding company level even. And for example, from the holding company, we may learn how in different companies, in the Matruch and Garbia and Luxor, how it's done, and then how these experiences in the 3 companies, how they are managing it at holding company level. And this we can use as a template to give it in a broader scale. So definitely we will take it up, your approach, but not at this state. And definitely we will, at the end of our program, we will definitely have a feedback or feed in better to the regional program of CIVI, because CIVI was also the starting point, or the UNDP water governance facilities was the starting point when we started this program in 2012. I think your question was, yes.
Okay, so our experience of engaging with high-level decision makers is that there is actually a cascading effect. So once you have one person on board, because there's actually an honor in doing the right thing, and fighting corruption is doing the right thing. So once you have initiated the process, gotten the wheel rolling, usually it's not that difficult to get it to continue to rule. And therefore, we're very happy actually to have the political endorsement from the water ministers in all 5 countries, as I told you. So I hope that this will actually help us to progress success in this program. And the other question, I don't have my pen. Sorry, what was the other question? The examples of building resilient systems, right. I wanted to take the Uganda case study, but now I can't do that. So what I can say is actually that as a part of our capacity building program on water integrity, we have a component where we ask each participant to develop an action plan, which will be something that they can change within their own environment. Something that will actually improve the situation, the TAP situation, in their organization, in their whatever they do, whatever they work with. And we have actually concluded one of those programs. So we have a whole publication with case studies from our Sub-Saharan Africa program with cases where you can see that this has been successful, and it has improved the systems, the governance systems. So maybe I can share this one with you, and I see that my colleague would like to talk more about this, if that's okay.
Just for the examples, I had the pleasure to actually join, thanks to CAPNET and UNDP funding, I had the pleasure to join the Sub-Saharan Africa Lessons Learned exercise last year. There are different interesting examples from Sub-Saharan Africa, which I think also we in our region can learn from. Burkina Faso was very much advanced in implementing water integrity at national level, at the legal level, I think, and at sub-regional level, SADC even included it into its overall governance approaches. So that is an example. I mean, SADC is not really, I mean, we often in the Arab world, we have a bit of an attitude towards Sub-Saharan Africa. I think it's not worth it. I think there are issues where we can very much learn from success stories in Africa. And this particular, the SADC approach is something we at kind of regional level, MENA, either through ACWA for the utilities or us at ESCWA, we might want to learn from, or the Arab League might want to learn from. And I actually myself don't think we should shy away from calling corruption what it is. We have very strong approaches these days. There are a lot of movements in the region calling for the governments to actually implement anti-corruption measures. Jordan, we are here in Jordan, we have very strong government approaches to controlling corruption approaches in the moment. I think a lot of, I don't know if maybe people, some of the people here in the room might also been frightened by some of the activities. We see a lot of changes since 2011 in the region. The people demand much more openness, and they speak direct language, and I think we should actually just accompany and follow the people's wishes and implement these measures. So I'm not afraid anymore of calling corruption. If it is there, the government calls it this way. Sorry, but I mean, that was just the example from Burkina.
Yeah, so we are doing not from the government, top down, but our water tap is from bottom up, although it's bottom up from the company point of view and from the customer's point of view. So, of course, we also observe, or we have to apply with the rule that in each company there's decision making, and that means getting support from the top management in a company. That's a precondition of going ahead for us. And at company level, and if water sector reform is being taken serious, then we also have to take the not decentralization, but as a commercialization point of view in the correct way, that the government or the central government and ministry is not controlling all and everything. And in Germany, for example, it's not the government, or it's not the ministry that is controlling, but it's the general attorney who is controlling compliance and the C word. So it's a completely unbiased approach that the legal institutions are controlling this and auditing. It's not the ministry. And that's probably a different approach. But anyway, that's the case from Germany, so we are not interfering, and that's why our water tap is simply, we are doing all the analysis, or the project is doing the analysis with regional stuff in the local language, that means in French, and in Arabic, in Egypt, and in Jordan, you have to decide, not we, you have to decide in which language you do it, either in Arabic or in English, whatever the staff is capable to do, because the staff is involved in assessing the risks and making proposal. We want to do that the people are doing it voluntarily. Okay, so I think the time is over. We managed in exactly 15 minutes delay, but we started 16 minutes delay, so we overtook time by 1 minute, but nevertheless, TSM is waiting. TSM can be related to water integrity, I don't know. That's another topic. So thanks a lot for your contributions to all the contributors, to the authors, including Egypt, and yeah, we are looking ahead to have a, now I can say, corruption-free environment.